Welcome everyone to Charts Focus 1, where we teach you how to work hard and trade smart. All right, it's been a long time, so let's get right back into it. So SPY here is very overextended and overbought. If you take a look on the weekly time frame, let me take out my drawings here. We've been going straight up for the past 4 weeks without seeing at least a single red week or a single consolidation week. And so with that broader perspective in mind, if you go back on the daily time frame and then bring up my RSI, we are in overbought conditions. As on Friday, the RSI was at 72.62. So the RSI will definitely need to recalibrate back to that 40s to 50s normal range. And in order for us to do that, we need to see a price action pullback. So can we see a pullback in this short week? Well, if you go deeper, if you dive deeper into these smaller time frames, like the 2-hour here, there are critical support areas that I'm looking at that I think the price can reach by the end of this week. So first of all, the maximum price that I think the SPY can hit by the end of this week is 435 to around 435.50. So right around here is where I see some very good potential support coming in if we do retest this specific area. Why do I say that? Well, if you take a look right over here, there were multiple bounces and multiple attempts to stay over this 435 to 435.50 area. But before we can even reach that area, we need to be able to see a retest and a break below 437. So this is our first area or level of support that we need to break in order to go to that 435 to 435.50 area. Now, there's also another support that we need to consider. On the 2-hour time frame, we are going to be hitting this 2-hour 21 SMA, because so far we have been riding the 10 SMA for quite some time. And I believe it was on the first week of June here, or the second week of June, we did retest the 2-hour 21 SMA, and then we continue to trudge on higher. So right now, we can see a retest of the 21 SMA again on the 2-hour time frame, and we can see a retest of the 237 support level. And again, this is an intraday level of support, as it is with the 435 and 435.50 support levels. So again, these are all intraday levels of support. Okay, so now with that in mind, if you go back to the daily time frame, okay, if you do pull back to around 435 to 435.50, it doesn't seem like a lot, right? And that's because it isn't, right? It's not a lot. And so this pullback can be sustained for the next couple of weeks or maybe even the next couple of months as we head into the actual summer months. And you guys should be reading the market summary as the reasons why the summer months are important for this current fiscal year. And so if we take that into consideration, the summer seasonality months, we have this tiny gap that we have never filled between June 1st to June 2nd. And so this raises a question. Are we going to pull all the way back down and then fill in this gap and maybe bounce around 423? Well, who knows? Because again, during that summer seasonality months, okay, we tend to get very textbook consolidation because again, we are in a bull market. Yes, the initial pullback will be very quick and volatile, but if we continue a pullback and then as we're pulling back and as we continue to move sideways, that will provide some good ample amount of consolidation in order for us to see a very steady downtrend rather than a very rapid descent to the downside. All right, the next one I want to look at is IWM. So IWM, if you go back on the daily time frame, we're making a nice bull flag here. So we have a critical level of daily support at 184.80ish and a very critical level of resistance at 188.50. So what does this mean? Well, this could mean that we can be range trading between these two levels. And we want to be able to see that on this specific index, the Russell 2000, which is the small caps, because again, we want to see strength. And again, if you guys haven't read the market summary yet, make sure you guys read that first before you guys watch this video. And so with IWM here, there is that slight chance that we can actually break below 184.80ish before we come back over to retest 188.50. And the only reason why that could happen is that the 21 SMA has not caught up to the price yet. And in fact, it's a bit too far away from the price. So in order for us to see the price being held by both the 10 and 21 SMAs, we need to see a retest of the 21 SMA and then a good sufficient bounce in order for us to be able to see higher highs and higher lows again on this specific index. All right, with that in mind, let's take a look at our first name. Okay, Roblox. All right, so RBLX. So this one is going to be a very top watch for us this week because of the relative strength that we saw last Friday. So we saw a nice little jump over all the major SMAs, the 10, the 21, the 50, and even the 200 for the past couple of days. And so we were able to hold above the daily 200 SMA. And then for the past 2 to 3 trading days, we're able to hold over the daily 50 SMA, which is my dark blue line over here. And so in the longer term perspective, it seems like the bulls are ready to make this move up higher. Now, don't forget that we have this large gap down that we made and we never filled in. And we've been attempting to go into the gap as seen by this $43 resistance level. Okay. Every single time we came up to retest it, or whenever we came within the vicinity of this $43 level, we continued to reject it. And we did that 3 times so far, including last Friday. And so this is an interesting level and is definitely going to be our confirmation breakout level if we're able to see a break over $43. So make sure you guys take a look at this. Now, there is another level that is acting as a crux to any type of move to the upside, which is the $42 level. So this $42 level has been used as a level of resistance and as a level of support as seen on the intraday time frames, like the 2-hour here. And on Friday, we actually ended up breaking below $42 again, and then we ended up using it as a level of resistance on the last I believe the last 2-hour candlestick here. Excuse me, guys. So with this $42 resistance, it's going to be a very heavy level of support. So if we do see a pullback come Tuesday, tomorrow, we need to be able to see a hold after a retest on this 2-hour 10 SMA and possibly even the 2-hour 21 SMA as well. Okay, so make sure you guys remember that this $42 level is a very important intraday level on the 2-hour, the 1-hour, or even on the 15-minute time frames as well. So the only thing that you guys have to remember is that we need to see a continuation of the momentum to the upside. And how are we going to see that? Well, we need to see a retest of the 10 or even the 21 SMA and a continuance of a bounce at the 10 and 21 SMAs. All right, so our second name here is IONQ. So this one has seen a huge stratospheric rise in the share prices in the last 2 months. And currently, right now in the month of June, we've been seeing a very nice consolidation mode kick in for this name, which is really ideal because again, we've had such a huge short squeeze of a run up that we need to see a pretty solid consolidation phase. And so far for the past, I would say, let's see, on the weekly time frame, around the past 3.5 weeks, okay, around 3.5 weeks, we've been consolidating, but that isn't enough after this large move to the upside. So this one will be definitely a name that we need to be watching out for, but do not be surprised if we end up breaking below this textbook bull flag support at $9. Because if we do see a nice break below $9, that means we can see an actual retest of the daily 50 SMA, my dark blue line here, and that can be somewhere around I would say 8.30 to 8.50. So around $8.30 to around $8.50. I'm likely wagering to be, we could see a potential retest around $8.50, but we have to see how the price holds up around this $9 support level. But just in the case that we do see a break below $9, we can see a retest of this daily 50 SMA, which could be around $8.50. And again, that will be very, very ideal because that is also a whole number level. All right, so with that in mind, okay, if you don't see a break below the $9 level, there is a chance that we can continue to range trade between $9 and the bull flag resistance level at $11 and around, I would say 40 cents. But we always want to round up to the whole number level. So $11.50 will be our breakout entry point, okay, our confirmed breakout entry to the long side. So if you guys want to avoid the entire hassle of trying to trade this range trading price action that's happening right now, you can just wait until we see a breakout over $11.50 and then go long from there. Okay, so that is our second name, and then our second to last name is CR. So this one's kind of an unconventional name because first of all, okay, the volume is quite low. Okay, the average volume is less than 500,000. It's at 318,000. So that's quite low. So this will be a very illiquid name to trade, especially for option contracts. So I would highly recommend that you guys look to get equity on this one only. Now, this one has been making a pretty interesting base here. We have a critical level of resistance at 81.50, which can also be seen on the weekly time frame, right? Now, there is a high probability that we can see a rejection at $81.50 because that's what happened last time back in mid-April, right around here. And so if we do that, then there's a possibility of us coming right back down to the base level of support at $72. So this is the major level of support that we need to hold, or else we can see new lows again, as we saw back in the first week of May. So what am I saying here? Well, there is a chance that we can see range trading again, just like we saw with IONQ, except this one will be a very, very big price range to consider if you want to range trade, as obviously the difference between 72 to 81.50 is pretty big. Now, if you don't see a rejection at 81.50, there is a chance that we can actually see new all-time highs already, because again, this one is a very, very, very recent IPO, as this company became public on March 29th of this year. So this one is still in that price discovery phase. So there's still a good chance that we can see a very, very volatile price action, which means we'll see very wicky price action. As you guys can see here, there are a lot of wicks on every single daily candlestick, which means you can be easily faked out or shaken out of any position that you try to get into for this name. Plus, it's a pretty illiquid name since the volume is less than 500,000, right? So again, if you do see a break over 81.50, as it is making a very nice consolidation phase here between 79 to 81.50, and for the fact that we've also held the 10 SMA pretty well after retesting it, there's a good chance that the 21 SMA can catch up and allow the momentum, the buy momentum specifically, to continue. And if that does happen, we'll see a breakout over 81.50 and then ultimately to all-time highs. Okay, so the last one that I want to go over is UWM. This is the 2 times leveraged ETF for the Russell 2000 or the small caps. So the reason why I want to look at this one is that, first of all, it looks a little bit different compared to IWM itself. And the main difference can be seen on the weekly time frame compared to, okay, IWM on the weekly time frame, right? Okay, it looks slightly different here. And in this case, UWM is making a descending triangle, a very, very macro descending triangle. And this is usually taken as very, very bearish in the longer term. But there is a chance that we can play this to the long side. And so, first of all, this descending level of resistance has been retested 2 times already. All right. So there's a high probability that we can see a third retest somewhere around $37. Now, why $37? Well, first of all, this is a weekly horizontal level of resistance, a very, very significant level of resistance. And if we take account of the future possible weeks or months that could be used to have us come up to $37, there's a chance that we can see the price retesting $37 with the descending level of resistance right over here. So somewhere around here, maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, so somewhere around maybe even July, August, or even September. Okay, and if we do see a retest at this convergence point of this descending level of resistance and the horizontal level of resistance at $37, that will be our official third retest, and there could most likely be a rejection. But if we do see consolidation right underneath $37, there's a chance that we can see a breakout. Now, with that longer term perspective in mind, okay, we can see a potential play to the long side this short week on this name. And just like IWM, we are consolidating, moving sideways, and we have a level of support at 33.50, and we have a level of resistance at $35. Again, the specific level is at $34.80, but we always want to round up to the whole number, so $35 will be the confirmed breakout entry point. Now, the only reason why I gave you guys a bounce entry at $33 is that there is that chance again that the entire markets can pull back this week, which can take along the small caps to pull back as well. And just like I said with IWM, okay, on the daily time frame, the 21 SMA has to catch up, just like with the IWM here. And so with UWM, if we want to see the 21 SMA catching up, there is a slight chance that we can break below $33.50 and possibly even retest the daily 200 SMA, which is my yellow line right over here. And again, there's going to be a sufficient amount of support, as there always is, at the 200 SMA. And as the price goes lower and potentially breaks below $33.50, the 200 SMA can actually curl up and have the price coincide at this $33 level and retest the 200 SMA. And once that happens, I would expect to see the 21 SMA caught up with the price as well. Okay, so there's a lot of speculation, but with these technical indicators, there is a chance that we can see exactly what I just described for you all. Right, so the last thing that I want to go over is BTC. All right, so let me actually bring up the right one here. All right, so Bitcoin has been moving pretty well. We've been making a nice bull flag here, as I've indicated a couple months back, and we're still playing within these two trend lines or these two parameters here. And so far, I think this might be just making a descending channel at this point, since we're not really seeing an immediate breakout um, out of this descending level of resistance, and we continue to range trade between these two parameters or these two trend lines. So I think if we continue to consolidate for the next couple of weeks or even next couple of months, this will indeed become an official descending channel, which is also a bullish chart pattern. So whether you view it as a bull flag or a descending channel, they're both going to be bullish. Now, a long bounce at $25,300 was made here, and obviously the bulls want to keep this level of support, and so we peaked a little bit below it, and then we immediately snapped back over $25,300, and so this has allowed the price to come back over the daily 10 and the 21 SMA, which are my momentum SMA. So that means the momentum is right back for the bulls, but there is a chance that we can see another rejection at the daily 50 SMA, as it is doing now currently. And how do we know this rejection will potentially provide another lower high? Well, right over here, right at this $28,452 pivot high point. And so if we aren't able to come back up and retest the 50 SMA again, and possibly even hold over the daily 50 SMA, we will make another second lower high point somewhere around here, come back down, and possibly even retest $25,300 again, the support level, and then bounce once more. And this can happen multiple times before we can see an actual retest of this descending level of resistance. Okay, so again, if you guys just want to wait for an official break out of this descending channel or this bull flag, you can look for an entry point around $28,800. So this is the official level of resistance, and this level of resistance has been used as a level of support multiple times in the past. All right, so this is a pretty significant level that you guys can see on all the bigger time frames, like the weekly and even the monthly time frames. All right, that's it for this week. If you guys aren't subscribed yet to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell to make sure that you guys are notified when I am live or whenever I post a new video. Good luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.